Alrighty, friends, we are back. Your favorite podcast of the week. It's Location Weekly. It's episode number 604, recording on January the 24th. And we're excited to see you. Brianna, how's it going?
It's going good. I hope you had a wonderful birthday.
I did. It was a, that milestone 50th birthday. So, but it was good. Lots of celebration the entire weekend, basically. So.
It's a big deal. But yeah, I'm good. Things are good, just making our way through the winter here, which hasn't been super crazy. It's been pretty mild. We did have some snow flurries yesterday, but nothing sticking. So, just
it's been the same here in Toronto. It's still like, I can see the grass and it's like above zero and it's been fine. Although we're supposedly getting some big storm tomorrow. Like a foot of snow or something. So
well, listen, I want like at least one good sledding day before the winter is over.
We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, we have a good show for you, as per usual. 4 stories that we want to cover off, a range of things here in retail and restaurants and other stuff. So I'll let Brianna start us off.
All right. Well, let's kick it off with a restaurant story from Chipotle. Chipotle has updated their, loyalty app that they use. And they say that they have about 30 million reward members that are active on their app, which is huge, right? So they've just added some simple new features that have some location enablement and technology built in, and it's really aimed at reducing friction and making it a little bit better of a consumer touch point. So they're I would say aiming this for like loyal consumers who spend more money with the brand is really what they're looking at. And these features are facilitated by Radius Networks technology platform called FlyBuy, which I know that we've probably covered at some point on the show before. And they tested it at 73 different restaurants in Cleveland before they rolled it out more broadly. So, what I think is interesting is they also, this announcement also tied to a report by an analysis report, which I would encourage all of you to check out if not, but if you haven't read it yet, but it's by Markets and Markets Analysis. And it's saying that location-based intelligence is projected to grow by 90% in the next 3 years, which is crazy, right? We're here talking a lot about like location data and company consolidation, but at the meantime, the intelligence piece of it is going to continue to grow. So probably just different use cases, different applications, and obviously different opt-ins. So back to like the main story here about Chipotle, really this is going to enable some push notifications, letting people know if they ordered and they're at the right place, kind of making sure that they'll alert them on the status of their order, and then reminding them to scan for points once they're in the restaurant and picking up their order. So like all little things, nothing crazy or new technology wise, but just thinking about those consumer touch points and how do they encourage their consumers to interact with them and also get the most out of that loyalty program that they have. I use the Chipotle app occasionally. We finally got a Chipotle close to us, and so that was exciting. And I think they're still working out a lot of like the new restaurant, kinks that they have in the management and like, staffing and all of those things. But it is nice to know that like, okay, I ordered this, I'm at the right place. It's going to be ready at this specific time and having those, enabled notifications. So I'm going to have to check out and see how these notifications make it a little bit of a smoother process. But I think the biggest takeaway for me here is honestly about like the location intelligence piece, which is projected to continue to grow. And I think that's exciting for both you and I. What do you think?
I think it's very exciting, that it's growing, and especially at that kind of a rate when we've been talking about the challenges with, collecting location data. So I think, as we've been saying for a decade plus now, it's about, value exchange. It's about, are you providing something that is relevant and important to the customer experience and the user? And I think that's what this is, right? This is all about improving, that customer experience, making it frictionless, notifying the staff at the restaurants, when orders are placed and how far away people are, and so that they can sequence and prepare the orders in the right, order and things like that. So it's about, speed of delivery. It's about, fulfilling, the payment process and kind of how all those things tie together. And I think, FlyBuy, the product from Radar, I think is, they've been having a lot of success lately with this, and implementing this with a number of companies. We had them as, they were one of the big sponsors at Retail Loco in Atlanta that we just did in October. And Nick Patrick, the CEO, gave a great presentation there about kind of where they're going. So I'm not surprised to see, them continuing to evolve and signing, customers like Chipotle. And what I am surprised about, like 30 million rewards users, that's a lot. So that's pretty cool. So I expect good things here and more growth from the FlyBuy product in the industry. So.
There you go.
All right, moving on, our second story now, we're going to jump over to Finland. And there's a company over there called Quuppa, I think is how, I don't know how you can pronounce that. It's QWPPA, okay, for those looking to spell that. And so they're a tech company in the RTLS space, which is real-time locating systems space. So we're talking about positioning systems. We're talking about tracking goods and items, inside of buildings, whether it's manufacturing or retail or healthcare. There are a lot of different use cases for this. And so they've launched a new product offering called the Joya Touch 22. So what this is this is a tablet. It's an Android OS based tablet with Google mobile services, 4.3-inch display. And it's like, sort of super bright, and it can work in like these types of, workplace environments, warehousing environments and such, where there's a lot of very bright lighting. You can still use this. It's ruggedized, for those type of work environments. And it's even got like a pistol grip form factor on it, for how you can hold it and all these kinds of things. And it can be, whatever color and branded and all of that for the company. But what's really interesting is it's designed to support indoor location technologies, to track, where customers are while shopping, to track where items are, from an inventory management perspective, tie, promotions that are running in stores to where those products are in real time. So it's, again, kind of like the Chipotle story. It's about streamlining and the customer experience, getting things to people as quickly as possible. But in this case, we're talking about, hardware and location data, from a fulfillment perspective within the retail environment. So, nothing crazy innovative here, but, I like when, they're kind of combining the hardware solutions with the, tags. So if you're not familiar with RTLS, it's a technology that's based on small little battery powered tags that send out location signals in real time. So you can attach these, like an Apple tracking device, to products or SKUs or carts or whatever the case might be within your warehouse or fulfillment centers and things like that. And in healthcare sector, this could be on MRI equipment or other things, that gets, put all over the hospital or things like that. And you need to find where these things are quickly, because it could be about saving lives, or it could be about getting a product to a customer super fast, or those kinds of things. So I think it's interesting. As I said, not, nothing crazy innovative here, but they're providing a service here that I think is very useful to the retail sector. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my one thought here is like, I feel like we talk about these stories a lot in different companies that are kind of providing similar functioning type of technology, whether it's tagging for more commercial uses and like industrial use cases, or even medical use cases, as you mentioned. And I guess my question is like, what's the total addressable market here? What does it take to be a clear winner in this area? And who's really going to win this out? Because I feel like we have a lot of like little stories around small companies that we mention a lot, but there's not really a clear winner yet. And so, you mentioned like MRI equipment. I'm like, how often does this really happen in a hospital that they cannot find the equipment? You know, these are big machines, or like maybe
Yeah.
it's smaller machines. So I would love to hear from somebody who is addressing these challenges. You know, maybe we can have somebody on our show to talk about like the real pain points and why they decided to build this. Because I'd love to hear more about like, what is this, where are the friction points that they've heard of, and what is like the repercussions of those friction points in terms of like the money that's lost or the value that's lost or the lives that are lost, right? So
Mhm.
I think these are all amazing use cases, but it's like, how big is this, and who's going to be the clear winner? What does it take to win? That's my thought.
It's a good thought. I like it.
All right, well, let's go up to an interesting collaboration that's happening on mapping side. And there is a nonprofit that's happening through a few different, foundations, organizations coming together. It's including Linux Foundation, Amazon Web Services, Meta, Microsoft, and the Dutch mapping company TomTom, which we haven't really talked a lot about recently, but they've been in this space for a long time. And these combined forces are working on this new mapping nonprofit that's called the Overture Maps Foundation. Now, the goal of this is really to help people build new maps by offering kind of like this open map data concept that developers can go in and build off of. So basically mapping data that members can use across different computer systems, because we know there's a lot of different languages, and maybe that's challenging when building something. So the government's going to come from government agencies, like the city planning departments. They're going to have existing map data like OpenStreetMap, which Meta is already using, and then members who can contribute their own data sets. So they'll have like membership that, will range from free to $3 million per year, just depending on if it's like an individual or a nonprofit or a government or agency or business. And really this is like mapping's response to open source software that we see a lot of times. And, that's interesting to know that obviously Google and Apple are not part of this, because clearly they have their own mapping software that they have built into their operating systems and all of their equipment as well. But really this is like aiming at developers who are looking for some high quality, up-to-date mapping. They're pulling things together, cobbling it together. And we've seen this across the location industry multiple times. Whether that's like point of interest data or parcel data or others that we have lots of members in the LBMA that are providing. So the first set they're going to launch this year, and it's going to include building, road, and administrative information. And then they're going to look at offering additional layers like 3D building data and all of those things. I think this is really interesting. I like that. I like to see multiple companies team up to offer something that would be useful across the industry, and improve, access to a lot of the data that's needed to improve our systems like delivery or shopping, or even just contextual data and reaching consumers and targeted advertising, right? So I don't know. I think this is one I'd like to pay attention to, keep a pulse on. What do you think?
Yeah, so I this is one I'm quite excited about, actually. I think this is a fantastic initiative, and applaud the Linux Foundation guys for kind of leading this and bringing this team together. And it's interesting that TomTom is there, and I have to say it that way because I've been corrected so many times by my Dutch friends over there. It's not TomTom, it's TomTom, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a company that with where Google and Apple have gone, and the move to mobile maps and native in your devices, they've taken a huge hit. And so I think if they can find new life in this type of framework, I think that's a good thing for them, number one. Number two, for me, like it's as I also have this startup called Ground Level Insights, and we are building our own map pieces, or we rely on mapping data to power some of what we do. And so we work with OpenStreetMaps and Mapbox and things like that. So having better data and developer tools and things like that we can access through an initiative like this, I think is something that certainly we would be interested in getting involved in some way or fashion. So I'm excited about it from that point of view as well. And I just think, having Meta and Microsoft and TomTom there, I think is a good start. I'd be interested to see what Mapbox's thoughts are on this, because I know they've just launched a new version, and it's there's quite a commercial side to it. So I'd be interested to see where their play is in this. But overall, I'm excited about the initiative. I think it's great.
There you go.
All right, final story now. So we're going to go over to the sort of security side of things. And so a company we haven't talked about for a while on this show, Lisnr, and that's spelled Lisnr, no E there. So I remember meeting the founder of Lisnr way back at one of our events that we did at South by Southwest years ago. Rodney Williams, great guy, a lot of energy, came out of the PNG incubator program. And so they've developed a sort of proximity location-based kind of verification tool using proprietary audio signals. So basically, emitting an audio frequency from a mobile device, and then using security pieces to detect where that is. And they've used it for payments, they've used it for just pure on proximity and things like that. And so they've teamed up with Clear on their age verification tools. And so now the combination of Clear's age verification product with Lisnr's what they call data over sound technology is really something that they're going to retailers that require age verification and proximity to kind of help make that verification process more efficient and streamlined, when they're trying to eliminate fraud and things like that. So I think this is interesting. I mean, both companies, have seen quite a lot of success in the last couple of years. So I like the combination of what they've done here with the sound technology and the age verification and kind of linking that up. Obviously, it's not, not every retailer needs that, but there's certainly, in the alcohol or, lottery space or, cannabis spaces or things like that, there's a lot of growth in those markets and a lot of need for this type of thing. So any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, this one really resonates with me and probably you too, as someone of mature age and drinking age. I'm constantly getting ID'd. I'm kidding, but yeah, I think this is cool. I like the idea of just like eliminating that friction point at the cash register, and I feel like it takes a lot of pressure off of people who are working at the store to be able to do their job effectively, right, and not offend someone or not let someone purchase something that they're not old enough to buy. So I think that this is like an interesting technology solve for it. So yeah, I like it. I was thinking though, as well, one thing when you were saying like the age verification and things of that, like there's probably a use for this in like TSA or some type of that type of a check as well, like the other Clear, right?
Yes,
so I think that could be interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. That's our show for this week. 4 wide-ranging stories there. Thank you again for listening and watching. If you have story ideas, please reach out to us. This has been episode 604. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you again next week for another show. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.